And good evening and welcome to this special Sunday edition of the Bill Fenlon Show. I'm Dave Sterenberg, your host, and I'm joined tonight by Coach Bill Fenlon and Tiger senior basketball player Mark Burgher. And welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tonight's show is going to have a special format. We're first going to talk with the coach and Mark about this weekend's ICAC tournament. And then we're going to have a direct satellite uplink with the NCAA Division III tournament selection process that will be going on directly from Kansas City later in the show. Following that, we'll look at the matchups of the selections made by the committee, and we will talk with the Tiger players and Coach Fenlon. And first of all, guys, I'd like to look back at what has probably been an unpleasant thought for you guys the last 2 days, and that has been the ICAC tournament here at DePauw over the weekend, won by Manchester. And the Tigers lost on Friday night to a fired-up Wabash squad, 66-62. Coach, it seemed a little bit like, first of all, you guys were a little out of sync in the second half, it seemed, and also Wabash came out just on fire. They shot, I believe, 78% in the second half. And I was just wondering what you think some of the contributing factors were that kind of put your guys out of sync in the second half and put Wabash in sync.
Well, I think a couple things might have happened. We didn't hit our shots early, and I told the guys after the game I probably could have coached us better, and I know we could have played a little bit better, but we had some of the problems that we've had in second halves over the course of the year, and this time it bit us in the butt.
Yeah.
And we've gotten away with it. But it hasn't, just because we've gotten away with it doesn't mean we haven't identified it as a problem. I thought we were over it, but
right.
We weren't. And I think that we had that lead and we wanted to extend it, and we didn't extend it the way we did at Wabash the previous Saturday by being aggressive, sticking the ball inside, taking it at them. We're just kind of passing the thing around and standing around offensively. And defensively, I think we backed off them a little bit. I mean, the fact that we have to foul just to get them in the bonus at the end
right.
is not indicative of the way we usually are defending. So, I think it was a combination of things. And then you add the fact that they hit 17 of their last 19 shots. It's
hard to beat a team when they hit that.
You could just take the defense out of there completely. Okay, and you could take those guys in the gym right now and set them in the spots that they made those 17 shots from, and there's no way that with no defense on them they would hit 17 to 19 of them.
Right.
And it was just one of those deals that they went off on us. They shot 80% in the second half, and we didn't counter.
Right.
We had it built up to the point where had we played a little bit better, even with them shooting 80%, we could have won the basketball game. But we didn't make free throws at key times. We didn't make the plays we needed to make.
Well, Mark, you guys had built up to a 13-point lead in the second half, and then all of a sudden they just went on the rampage, and it seemed like all of a sudden you guys just kind of, things weren't working for you. I just wondered what you feel about, were you surprised that Wabash was able to do that coming down into the Neal Fieldhouse? You guys had a good-sized lead at home, a good crowd. I just wondered what you felt. Were you surprised that Wabash was able to come back from that?
Well, we weren't really surprised at all, the fact that they came back, and I expected a hard game from them, as everyone on the team did. Just because we beat them by 24 up there, everyone assumed ahead of time that it's going to be a sure victory for us. All we have to do is show up, and no one on our team thought that. We talked about it. We're going to have to win and play just as well as we did up there, or we'll end up getting beat. And I think you talk about 10 minutes left in the game, we're up 13. The turning point of the game was to start the second half, and we had 5 straight possessions where we either threw the ball out of bounds and didn't even get a shot, and they were going down, and they didn't capitalize the first 5 minutes either. But at the 10-minute mark, they start knocking in a few shots. They're getting a few more shots, and we're still struggling and standing around on offense. And that's and that's where they made the run, and we didn't respond to it.
Right. Well, it seemed to me that in the first half, neither team really played well the majority of the first half, and then, Coach, your team made a run there at the end of the first half, and then Wabash made their run at the end of the game. It seemed also that we weren't making our free throws as well as this Tiger team has been used to. What do you think some of the factors were that led into the Tiger run at the end of the first half, and also consequently, or not consequently, but the free throws not being made in the second half?
Well, I thought we were a little more, we were aggressive. When we were aggressive, our defense created a couple easy baskets for us.
Right.
And, you know, we got to the free throw line, we got the ball inside a little bit, and you know, when we left at halftime, I thought, well, we haven't shot the ball worth a darn. And, you know, we just haven't played very well, and we're up 11, and I really thought that we would come out and be more aggressive. Unfortunately, when there's 3,000 people in there and you got a lead, sometimes you think you're being aggressive and you're not.
Right.
You know, you know, it's really hard to snap yourself out of it. I mean, I took that time out at the beginning of the second half, and I really blasted them, and maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. You know, maybe I should have hugged him and kissed him or something at that time and tried to get him to relax. But I was just trying to shock him into trying to be a little bit more aggressive, because it's just something that we've you know, it's just like sometimes you make free throws. Well, sometimes we're not aggressive.
Right.
You know, and it's just a problem that we have to, as a team, we have to work on.
Well, Mark, you especially seem to have a hard time getting in sync on Friday night. And I just wondered if there was something that Wabash did differently to try and keep the ball away from you, or just your scheme wasn't working as well as it usually does. But I believe you had 3 points on the evening, but it just seemed like you were never able to find your touch that night. And I just wonder if they did something different.
They didn't do anything different. What did different is, as a team, we played different. You know, when we played up at Wabash, you know, it's easy to stand out there and hit open shots. You know, it's the guys creating the shot for you. And, you know, I had 5 shots that night, and, you know, some of them were forced shots that, you know, I normally wouldn't have taken. But the thing was, as a team, we weren't getting the ball movement we had at Wabash. We weren't getting the ball inside. We weren't driving, making a pass, and then making a second and third pass after that, and getting the open pass, you know, and getting open shots. What we were doing,
I knew you knew what the heck was going on.
We were driving, you know, we'd drive and then try to pass, and we'd think, well, we don't have a shot now. We wouldn't look in the post, and, you know, consequently, we had to force a lot more shots that were covered than we did. And, you know, it showed up, and, you know, with even our shooting percentage for the game, you know, it wasn't that well either.
Yeah,
Right.
Our shooters, Seif and Mark, are as good as shooters as there are in the country at this level.
Right.
But their shots have to come a certain way. They have to come inside out. They have to come off penetration. When Mark and Todd have to get their shots off the dribble or get their shots side to side on the three-point line, you know, their percentage is going to drop dramatically. They are great spot-up shooters, and the things that we're trying to do offensively are designed to get them those kind of looks at the basket. And when we're playing well offensively, that's exactly what they get, and they drain them. And that's, you know, if we get another chance to play, that's what's going to happen, I'll guarantee it.
I think Eric Brooks took a little bit different role than he'd taken during this game, too. He became more of a scorer, hitting almost, I think he hit all of his shots on the evening, and he was drained 3 3-point shots, I believe. And I was just wondering if you think that kind of affected the way your team played, maybe that Brooksy had a little different role in the game on Friday night, or maybe he stepped up because other things weren't working as well.
Well, I think that people don't see Eric as the perimeter threat that they see our other perimeter guys as. And so to give help, sometimes they lay off Eric. And, you know, what he did was step up and hit some shots, which should have really helped us.
Right.
You know, because it should have given him then the opportunity to go by people once he hit a couple of them. You know, but we didn't really capitalize on that either. But, you know, I think he took some shots that he had to take because they were wide open. They were kind of asking him to shoot the ball, and he did, and he nailed them. And you know, we should have fed off of that a little bit too, and it just didn't happen.
Well, I think you guys would be glad if we just put that behind us now and moved on.
Yeah, would you mind?
No problem.
Okay.
Looking to another slightly less distasteful subject, Manchester played well in this weekend's tournament. They came in, you guys were ranked 5th in last week's rankings. Manchester was ranked 7th, but Manchester came in and won the ICAC tourney, kind of finished with a flourish. I just wondered how you think that will affect their rankings and their chances of getting into the tournament, and how that affects you guys also.
Well, I think that you know, you just don't know. It's subjective stuff. It's some people on a committee trying to get it figured out.
Right.
They're looking at a lot of different things. They're looking at we're hoping that it carries some weight that we won this conference championship over the long haul, not over 3 days, with a 2-game lead. So, we hope that that's going to have a bearing. We think we played a pretty strong non-conference schedule, and they've got to compare those two things. I would hate to think that what we're doing is going up against Manchester. I found myself thinking like that the last 2 days. Was why them, not us? Why us and not them? And I think they're a very good basketball team. They proved it the last 3 days. I think we proved it over the long haul. We won this league. This is a tough league. And, we got it done. We stumbled on Friday night, and we're upset about that. But, I'm looking at our schedule. They've played very well lately. I think they've won 9 in a row, and the committee looks at how you've done, late season. But we haven't lost 2 games in a row all year.
Right.
We've never lost a game where we didn't win at least the next 3, sometimes 7. And those things, it's not like we're losing.
Right.
We just lost a game. But we won 9 of our last 11 regular season games and 16 of our last 19. So you think I've been thinking about this a little bit?
I'm sure everybody's been kind of thinking about it. I think that's probably been the primary thought.
I think that tells you that you're playing good.
Right.
And the losses that we had were against good teams, and we had some quality wins. Beating Milliken, a team that was ranked at different times in the region, at Milliken badly. Beating Taylor here at home. Taylor's a top 20 NAIA Division I team.
Right.
And those are quality wins. And our losses, Illinois Wesleyan on their floor in overtime in a game where Seif has a sprained ankle, and Zach Phelps doesn't even play in that game.
Right. Well, I think the other teams, looking at other teams beyond Manchester, there's also teams.
You didn't play in that game, did you, Zach?
But we had.
He's out there going.
He's out there watching.
Yeah, I should have played in that game.
There's other teams in the region that kind of stumbled over the weekend too. Knox College lost to Ripon in their opening game of their conference tournament, and so they were ranked, I believe, 4th coming into this weekend, and they lost on Friday night. And then there's teams like Wisconsin Whitewater, who their 17-8 record is really not comparable to our 19-6 record, and their losses weren't exactly quality losses either. So, how do you think, beyond comparing ourselves with Manchester, comparing ourselves with other teams in the region that were ranked comparably or ahead of us?
Well, I think that it's really hard to compare. The only way you can compare is like how the other teams in our league did against teams outside of the conference.
Right.
And I know that we beat Franklin twice, and Franklin beat Knox. I know that we beat WashU, and WashU lost to Beloit by 2. I know that there's a lot of people want to talk about, well, we lost to Division I and we lost to Division II. Well, we could lose to those guys too.
Well,
put them on the schedule. We'll lose to them.
We're going to find out in just a sec, Coach, because I hate to cut you off, but we need to go to a PSA, and then I believe we'll be going to the satellite uplink to see the actual selection process. So we're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll be right back with you on the Coach Bill Fenlon Show.
That's an uplink?
Yeah.
Accident tonight. Only he doesn't know it yet. Drugs make you forget. And if you forget how risky sex can be, you could catch the AIDS virus and not know it for months, even years.
Tournament appearance and
Kill.
taping this whole thing.
And we're back on the Coach Bill Fenlon Show, and I've been talking with Coach Fenlon and senior Tiger player Mark Burgher. But right now, we're going to go direct to the satellite uplink with Kansas City. Oh, I guess we're not. My floor director tells me we're not going to, so I guess we'll speculate a little bit more on some of the other teams that are going to be in the region. I think it's pretty much a given, Coach, and that teams like Beloit, Augustana, Wisconsin, Platteville are going to be in there.
Yeah, I think those are probably the guys that
The three
are
solid
locked.
top three seeds.
The rest of them, I think, you would just hope that the biggest problem we have, I think, is this is a new league.
Right.
And even though I think it's a very good league, and I think other people think that, it's just, you don't know how much respect you're going to get.
Right.
Especially since a lot of the teams in the league are very new to Division III.
Well, Augustana seems to be getting a lot of respect. They're the CCIW champions, but their record wasn't all that great. They had an 18-6 record, comparable to your record. But I just wondered how you feel your team matches up with some of these other teams, the Beloits, the Augustanas, the Wisconsin Plattevilles.
I think that us getting through our league at 9-3 would make us competitive with any of the 40 teams they're going to pick in this tournament.
Okay. Mark, how do you feel? You've been in the tournament before. You've played, last year you played against Elmhurst. As far as competition and teams that come from that league, is there any differences in the style they play or anything like that, and looking forward to any of the teams? It's primarily going to be an Illinois or a Wisconsin team, it looks like, that your guys are going to get. So I just wondered what you thought of that.
It's hard to compare teams. We've played against teams from the CCIW, Illinois Wesleyan, Millikan, and we split with them. And you can look at Wabash, they beat Millikan, but Millikan turned around and beat Franklin. And I think that we've always found that usually the teams in our league play a lot more sound defense, play harder than the teams we've played in the tournament in the past. Illinois Benedictine played no defense. Elmhurst played no defense. They beat us. We played bad the nights we played them in the past. And so I think we'll be more prepared going in, because we have a tough conference, and we have to face a tough defense every night, except when we play teams like Franklin and Wabash, which they don't guard. But other than that, I think our league prepares us well for the tournament. And like Coach said, to get through our league 9-3, we feel that we can beat any team in the nation on a given night.
Right.
And so we're just looking forward to get that chance.
Well, I just wondered, what teams, Coach, do you see possibly sneaking up from behind? If the tournament committee we were ranked 5th last week, and now after the loss on Friday, what teams do you see possibly sneaking up from behind besides Manchester that could sneak up and kind of bump your team out? Well,
Illinois Wesleyan is a possibility just because they've got great tradition and some political clout, I think. And the politics pervades in every walk of life, Dave? And it's no different in college athletics. And what I've been trying to tell myself the last couple days, because I don't have the connections that a lot of people have.
Right.
I'm just kind of doing my little thing here on my own, and I can't call up Coach Knight and have him yell at somebody for me, or call up Coach Krzyzewski and have him send a telegram. So my hope is you get what you deserve. You get what you earn, and I feel very strongly that we deserve to be in.
Well, Mark, there's probably been a lot of thoughts running through the players' minds the last couple days, and just wondered what some of the thoughts, I'm sure you guys have talked about what some possibilities are, how you guys feel about it, just some of the feelings that's been going through the teams the last couple days, if you could share those with us.
Well, one of the things, especially the seniors, even some of the underclassmen had come up to us, the freshmen and sophomores, and said, well, we're sorry, because, we just don't know what's going to happen. And we put ourselves in a situation where, we didn't guarantee ourselves a spot in the tournament. We had to let some people, on a phone call, 5, 6 coaches sitting there deciding who plays. And, the seniors especially, we want a chance to get in the tournament. We've played in it 3 years, and not to do it, to be able to play in it this year would be a big disappointment. And we also want a chance to win 20 games. We thought we'd do it last game, and there's that desire. You can see it in the players when we talk. Everybody wants one more chance because we're not going to play like we played the last game. And we know, before we were like, well, we know now it's our last game. If we don't win from here on out, it's our last game. And so we just want that chance, and hopefully, they'll look back at the record we've had this year, and they'll put us in. And that's what we're hoping for.
One of the things, and we used it as kind of a motivational thing with our guys, was that, you control your own destiny, you got to win the conference tournament. And so we're kind of dangling that carrot out in front of guys. So then when we got beat on Friday, it was just like, that's it, we're done, it's over. And then I'm spending the last couple of days trying to talk everybody into the fact that it's not over. You know, we still have
got some games to
play. We still
play.
have a chance, and now I feel like, you know, that I maybe haven't been being honest, but at the same time, you know, we would have controlled our own destiny had we won the tournament, and so now we just have to wait and see. But I don't think that makes us much less deserving. Right.
Well, and looking at the primary factors, we've got some criteria for the selection. On some of the primary factors are head-to-head competition, strength of schedule, results against common opponents, and results against regionally ranked teams. I think looking at those factors, your team coach, excuse me, has had good results against common opponents of the other teams that we're comparing to, and results against regionally ranked teams. You guys have also done very well. I guess we're getting ready to head to the selection committee right now.
There it is, baby.
Yes.
In a second round game. That's in our West bracket. Laverne will host Cal Lutheran in the second round game. Laverne is making its first appearance in this championship. The Leopards have won 19 games this season and lost 7 en route to the championship of the Southern California Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Cal Lutheran is making its second straight appearance in the championship and second overall. The Kingsmen finished with a 20-6 record. In the first Midwest bracket, Beloit receives a bye into the second round. Beloit is making its 8th appearance in the championship and its first since 1989. The Buccaneers won 21 games this year and lost 4 en route to the championship of the Midwest Collegiate Athletic Conference. Beloit will host the winner of the first round game between Augustana and DePauw. Augustana will host DePauw. Augustana, the champion of the College Conference of Illinois and Wisconsin, is making its 8th appearance in the championship and its first since 1983. The Vikings won 19 games this year and lost 6. DePauw is making its 9th appearance in the championship and 4th in a row. The Tigers finished second in this tournament 3 years ago. They won 19 games this year and lost 6.
Was that Randolph Macon? Was that Randolph Macon?
Are we going to continue with the brackets? I don't know if we're going to continue with the brackets or not. I hope we are. And
lost 8 and won the automatic bid from the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. The Tommies are making their second appearance in the championship. The first was in 1990. St. Thomas will host the winner of the first round game between St. John's and Wartburg. St. John's will host Wartburg. St. John's is making its 4th appearance in the championship and the first since 1988. The Johnnies won 19 games this year and lost 7. Wartburg won 18 games this year and lost 7 en route to the championship of the Iowa Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. The Knights are appearing in the championship for the 5th time and the 4th in the last 7 years. The second Midwest bracket begins with Wisconsin-Platteville, which receives a bye into the second round. Wisconsin-Platteville is making its 3rd straight appearance in this championship and 3rd overall. The Pioneers won the title in 1991 and finished 3rd last year. The Pioneers finished this year with a record of 22-3. Wisconsin-Platteville will host the winner of the first round game between Wisconsin-Whitewater and Manchester. Wisconsin-Whitewater is making its 8th appearance in the championship and 2nd in a row. The Warhawks have won this tournament twice and finished 4th once. The Warhawks won 17 games this year and lost 8. They will be hosting Manchester, who finished the year with a record of 20-7. The Spartans are making their first trip to the NCAA tournament.
With Coach Fenlon and Mr. Mark Burgher. And guys, you got to be jacked about.
We are jacked. We are jacked, Dave.
And
we are jacked.
Big first-round seeding.
Are they taping that whole thing?
I don't know, Coach. Actually.
Are you guys taping that whole thing? Okay.
So anyway,
I just
we got.
I needs to know, Dave.
They'll all be out.
Okay.
Big first-round seeding with Augustana, and it looks like the tournament selection members really gave you guys a good seeding as far as the next round game. If you get past Augustana, with going on to Beloit rather than, I mean, in my opinion, it seems looking at the strength of these teams that Wisconsin-Platteville's got to be the team to beat.
Yeah, well, they've been in the Final Four the last 2 years in a row.
Right.
Won it, 2 years ago. So, and I've seen them play. They're pretty good.
So you've got to be.
But they're not a team we can't beat.
No.
If we play like we're capable of playing.
Well, you're going to be going up to Augustana, Coach, and a tough Augustana team.
Dave, I would walk to Augustana.
Just to be in there.
I mean, we'll have to leave right after this, but I would walk to Augustana for this opportunity to play.
The long haul up to Augustana College, excuse me, I believe it's Augustana College, and that's up on the Illinois-Iowa border. Long trip for your players, but a happy trip, I'm sure. And we're going to go to a PSA, and then we're going to be joined by some of the Tiger senior basketball players, and we're going to analyze the upcoming games in the NCAA Division III tournament and talk with some of the players about their emotions concerning the selection. We'll be right back after this PSA.
Care. That's why at CARE, we don't just help those who face starvation. We also provide tools and skills to help people help themselves. Through CARE, you can help build better lives and prevent hunger from happening in the first place. From help to hope. CARE.
I'm going to hand this game behind
You guys thought you were...
What about the time? And we're back. I don't know if we are back. We're back. We're here with the Tiger players, and the Tiger seniors are on
Marvin,
the
stay
stage.
out there. We're going to go eat
So
after this.
you guys can
we're going to Marvin. On you, Marvin.
Nelly, you guys can kind of file on around this way a little
You guys
bit.
move over this
Yeah,
way.
so we can kind of surround in around this table here.
Watch the wire.
Yeah, just be careful of the mic wires, guys. And who's got the mic right now? Saif, and why don't you guys grab that mic? We want to hear. Saif, how jacked are you about this pairing? You got to be excited about getting in here. I know I spoke with you the other night, and you were kind of disappointed about Friday night's game, but you got to be jacked now that you're back in the tournament.
Yeah, we're really happy. We were disappointed because we didn't get
control our own destiny, but thank God we got in, and we did pretty good, I think, in the draw. So we're all happy.
Well, Travis, anything you want to say about the pairing, Augustana? They've got some big guys on the inside. Front line goes 6'6", 6'5", 6'4", and so you're going to have quite a match on the inside. Those are the big
you're not
players.
going, are you? You might as well stay here.
You're going to have a tough assignment, but you've got to be pleased just to be playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, really, at this point, there's only 40 teams left in the country, so anybody you play is going to be tough. Particularly on the road. So the fact that they go 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", or whatever, I don't think has too much bearing. I think what's most important is that we get ready to play.
Right.
I think that we're the caliber of team that if we're ready to play, we can beat anybody that's left. But we're also very, if we're not ready to play, we're able to lose to anybody in the tournament and, frankly, just about anybody else in the country. So if anyone who kind of came and saw the last 8 minutes of the Wabash game. So I think it's just important for us we have 3 days now to get ready to play Augustana. I know nothing about them, but I think what we really need to do is focus on what we want to get done during the game, and if we do that, we'll be able to come out with a win.
All right, Brooksy, coming off a big game Friday night. I believe you made the ICAC All-Tournament team.
Anymore.
So going into Augustana with their big game on the inside, can we look for you lighting it up with those three-pointers we saw Friday night?
Sure you can, Rat. I really don't want to answer your question. I just want to say that I am ecstatic that we're in the tournament, and we're going to make some noise, I promise you.
That's good. T. Nord,
What's up,
really
Mike?
quick. T. Nord, I talked to you on Thursday night on the Sports Reporters on the radio, and I think you guys were basically looking at controlling your own destiny.
Well, Dave, there's no doubt.
And the Frog Tide came up also.
We talked about that Thursday on the radio, that, you know, one of the most important things that Coach Fenlon's brought to DePauw is the Frog Tie. And if we could get a close-up of the Frog Tie, I mean, this Frog Tie has just come through for us all year long.
You guys got to see the
Frog Tie's 3-0. Yes. Coach has had it on all day, thinking positive thoughts, positive karma all day long.
I went sledding with my children
with the Frog Tie.
honest to God,
so
I did.
T-Nord,
the Frog Tie pulled us through.
Do you think that's what pulled it through, was the Frog Tie?
Well, I'm sure. If you just look at the tie, you can tell that it's thinking positive karma all the way. I mean, look. And maybe today we kind of got kissed and became the prince, huh, Coach?
Maybe.
Is that what it is? Scotty, again, I'm talking to Nels about those big guys on the inside. Big contest for you. You got to be glad to be in, but you're going to be prepared to take those guys on the inside?
We're all jacked. I'm jacked. DePauw is jacked. And those guys have nothing on us. Nelson, get it up.
Coach, looking at the matchup, I mentioned to the guys that there's some big players on the inside. Augustana is led by Kirk Anderson, a 6'5" senior guard, averaging 23.4 points per game. And their guys are big all the way around. Aben Cooper, 6'4" forward senior, 16.4 points, and Josh Thompson, 6'6" senior, averaging 13.3 and 6 rebounds. So these guys are experienced. They're senior ball club, and they're big on the inside. How do you see your team trying to match up with this Augustana team?
You know, we've played against some awfully good teams all year. You know, and you know, for us to be, you know, fearful of anything at this point would be pretty ridiculous. You know, we don't have guys that averaging in the 20s and stuff like that, because that's just not our team. You know, but we have an awful lot of people who can contribute for us and can do some good things. So, you know, we guard people with our team. You know, we don't just say, well, you go out there, Scott, and stop this guy, or Eric, you got to stop this guy. We never talk about that. You know, we always talk about what we have to do to stop them.
Right.
You know, that was a problem for us in the second half at Wabash. You know, we did not stop them. It wasn't somebody didn't stop somebody. We didn't get the job done as a team. And, you know, frankly, they went a little unconscious on us too, and it was a combination. You know, it's a combination of
70%
things.
can be unconscious.
But you know, I don't believe that there's a team in America that if we're defending the way we're capable of as a team, can make 17 out of 19 shots.
Right.
I just don't think there's one out there, and because we can get on you defensively,
right,
when we've got a mind to, and so we're going to have a mind to on Thursday, and I think we will. You know, I think we have been to the abyss. We have been looking over the edge for 2 days, and I know these guys have all felt the same way I have for the last 2 days. I mean, we've seen, you know, it's like when you die, your life passes before your eyes, and that's what it's been like. I mean, we've had a great season, and I think we've really grown very fond of each other and fond of what we've been able to do as a group, and we were very fearful that that was going to be over. But now we know it's not, and you know, we have absolutely nothing to fear now because we've already gone through that emotion.
The worst
you know,
part of it, right.
we've already felt that. So for us to be afraid of anything now would be totally goofy. We just need to go out there and play with no fear. And I really believe that there's nobody out there that if we play the kind of basketball we can play that we can't beat.
Well, you look at the common matchups. This Augustana's team lost at Millikan. You guys went into Millikan earlier this year and pretty much waxed the Big Blue at Decatur. So, I mean, you guys went in and played them tough, but and beat them, whereas Augustana lost to them. So, I mean, looking at the common matchup, you guys definitely compare with this team, it seems.
I mean, you know, you just assume that they're probably a lot like us. You know, I mean, in terms of talent level and you know, what kind of level your team can play on. And I don't think that league is any better than our league. And obviously they played well and won that league, but we played well and won ours too. And so, you know, we have a chance to find out exactly what it's all about.
Well, looking ahead, I know you don't want to look too far in advance, but looking at the brackets, it seems also that you guys really got a good pairing in the bracket. Looking beyond Wisconsin Whitewater, or excuse me, Wisconsin Platteville got put in the opposite bracket, playing the winner of Wisconsin Whitewater, and I believe Manchester. And they are 22-3, the top seeded team in the region. They've been to the Final Four the last 2 years. They won the thing a couple years ago. So you've got to be pleased that you're not, assuming you win, we shouldn't assume anything, I guess, but if you guys go out and play tough on Thursday and beat Augustana, that you'll be playing Beloit instead of Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, you know, beggars can't be choosy. You know, I think, you know, I think we would have been very happy to go up and play Wisconsin Platteville. And the thing about tournaments is it really doesn't matter anymore. You got to play whoever's in your way and win in advance. You know, and sure, it'd be great to win 2 or 3 games before you lose, but the bottom line is only one team gets to win a tournament. So what you want to do is go out and win every game, and whoever's in your way, that's the team you got to concentrate on. That's the game you have to win. You win that one, and then you go on to the next one. Right. And we're gonna focus in on Augustana for the next couple days, and then whatever happens after that, we'll take care of that.
Well, Brooksy, I was just wondering, he's going to need the mic here. Yes. It's going to be tough going up and playing at Augustana. I'm sure they have a pretty sports fanatic type of student body, so they're going to have a lot of fans out there. They have a long athletic tradition. Their football program's won a lot of championships, but it's going to be tough going up there to play, and I just wondered how mentally you'll prepare yourself for that game on Thursday going up there to play.
Well, obviously, if we don't play well, it's the last game of my career, so it's not going to take much to get me up, and it's not going to take much for, I don't think, to get anyone on our team up. We will be ready, and I think we're going to make a lot of noise in this tournament.
Okay, Saif, what do you look to see you guys do different this weekend or this Thursday at Augustana that you didn't do on Friday night or of those type things? Are you just going to try to do more of the same that you've done earlier in the season, or do you see some things maybe changing, trying to emphasize some things more going in to Thursday's game with Augustana?
I really don't see us having to change much. We just have to concentrate on not turning the ball over and finding our guys blocking out and playing on both ends in the way we know we can. And if we do that, just like we've been saying, I don't think we can be beat. So I think we just need to concentrate on ourselves and our little errors that have been costing us, and if we do that, then we'll be all right.
Coach, do you think Augustana will try anything new or different that will really throw something new at you, or something that you guys haven't seen the whole season? Do you foresee that at all?
Everything they do will be new to us because
right.
You know, it's not like playing another team in the league.
Right.
You know, I think it's a jailbreak for us. You know, one of the things about us is, hell, these guys have seen us play 100 times.
Right.
That's why we go down and we play Milliken, and we play pretty darn good. You know, when we played people who weren't that familiar with us, it's a little tougher to play against us, I think. And so I think getting in the tournament and getting the heck out of this league is like a holiday. We need to take advantage of it.
Well, I just wondered if you see the CCIW as playing a different style of basketball, perhaps.
No, I mean, just the only experience I have with them is Milliken, Illinois Wesleyan, and the thing that, you know, I think is common to both of those teams is they're a little more interested in scoring than they are in stopping you. And you know, but that, you know, that changes in tournaments. You know, guys are a little more jacked up to stop you, but the thing about it is, if it's not part of what you do, it doesn't mean you can do it just because you decide you want to do it. And I think it is part of what we do. And I think we can take advantage of that in tournament situations because it is do or die. You know, and we've been able to win games and not shoot the ball well. We've been able to win games and not play well offensively. And sometimes in tournaments, when you know there's no tomorrow, it's not that easy to pull the trigger.
Right.
And if we go out and we decide that we're going to stop people, I don't care if we beat them 30-29, you know, we can do that. You know, we've held people under 20 points and a half before. And that's when people are playing loose. You know, it's tough to go out and play loose in a tournament. We need to make up our minds that we are going to do what we do well, and that's guard people. You know, and if we go guard in this tournament, then we'll be in every game. And if we're in every game, we got a chance.
Well, Mark, question for you now. Looking at this 6'5" guard, Kirk Anderson, do you see any matchup problems, perhaps, trying to get on him? You guys go with primarily the 3-guard lineup with yourself and Saif and Brooks, all 3 being guards in the starting lineup. Do you see a matchup problem maybe with these big guys as you come into Augustana on Thursday?
Well, first of all, as Coach said, you know, sure, somebody's going to be assigned to guard him, but, you know, our whole defensive scheme is, you know, playing as a team, 5 guys on the floor. And, you know, there really isn't too many teams in our league, or even any of the teams we've played all season, where the guy I'm guarding isn't bigger than me, isn't stronger than I am, isn't just, a better, as far as physical ability and strength. And so, I mean, it's nothing different than what we've done all year. So, if he's 6'5", that's great, We'll see what he can do against us.
Who's going to draw him? That's what I want to know. Who gets the assignment, Coach?
I don't know. You're way ahead of me in the scouting report.
I had to know something to keep this going.
I'm taking them one step at a time right now.
Right. Well,
can I make a public service announcement?
Yes, you can make a public service
we are going to go to Marvin's after this. So I wanted to invite our boosters who are watching to come over there and have some pizza with us and do some backslapping and some clapping, because we've had a lot of great support from people on campus all year and people out in town who've been with us all the way, and our people here in the studio doing the Bill Fenlon show, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's really kind of grown here lately, and obviously you think that when you're winning it generates some of that, but I think a lot of it is a little deeper than that. And, I think we've got people in town here who have given us a lot of support and would have done so had we been 6-19. I really believe that. So I think we're really lucky in a lot of ways, and this is a great night for not only our players, but for everybody who's been behind us all year.
I think Travis Nelson has something to say, Coach.
Well, Dave, I just want to say that in the 4 years that I've been here, and I think the seniors and I have talked about this on several occasions in the last 2 weeks, we've probably seen our best student support since we've been here at DePauw. I think kind of students maybe get a bad rep for not following DePauw athletics, and sometimes that's true, but as far as basketball has gone the last 2 or 3 weeks, the student body's been really behind us. So I'd encourage anyone who is interested, jump in a car, go up to Augustana.
I think you're talking road trip.
Talking road trip.
I think there's a lot of professors who are big fans of DePauw basketball.
Classes canceled on Friday, baby.
And I'm not saying classes are canceled, but maybe we could put a little pressure on them, and Thursday could be a heck of a road trip up to Augustana.
Well, it'd be really nice if somebody could put together a bus type of deal to try and get some fans up there, because it's going to be important, because I've been around Augustana before, Augustana athletics, and I know the fans can be rabid up there, so it'd be nice to have some of your own there. So looking at the other pairings, let's kind of ask you guys about the Manchester pairing. Manchester drawing Wisconsin Whitewater, and I just wonder what some of your feelings were on Manchester getting in and their drawing, and how much of a factor. There was a lot of rumblings that Steve Alford was a lot of the reason that Manchester was getting a push for this tournament, but I just wonder if any of you would like to give us some feelings about the Manchester draw.
Well, Manchester didn't get a draw just because Steve Alford's their coach. Manchester got a draw because, first of all, they're a very good team, and I think they really proved that during their stretch run the last 10 or 11 games. Other than the game that we played them, I don't think they had an opponent who's much closer than 10 points the whole time. So they're playing great basketball, and that's why they got a bid. That's why they got a seed, 1 seed ahead of us. So I wouldn't take anything away from their team and give the credit to their coach. I mean, I think that their players really deserve, well, as well as their coach, but they all deserve credit for their bid.
They're not trading on his name. I mean, I don't think there's, I don't see that at all. And I think Travis is right. They won 20 basketball games.
Right.
And they won a tournament over the weekend in a very good league. And you got to give them credit. They took our damn nets down last night. Frank's probably putting them up right now.
Well, I just wondered, how do you guys feel? Do you think this is kind of like the ICAC has arrived now? You talk about the strength of the league compared to other years, and now there's 2 teams coming into this tournament out of the ICAC. There seemed to be a lot of parity top to bottom. I wonder if any of you guys felt like this was kind of the arrival of the ICAC as a power in Division III basketball now.
Well, I think that's probably true now that all the ICAC teams have moved to Division III. This has been a strong conference since we've been here, since it was formed, and it's never really got the respect at Division III that it deserves because of the NAIA appearances of Hanover and who else? Franklin and such. But now that everyone's Division III and we've got some really good teams, I think that I think it'll even gain more respect. And the bad part about that is there's so much parity in this conference that the teams just beat up on each other all year long, and the records might not show the strength of the teams in the league, and so this conference tournament at the end might turn out to be pretty big in in the coming years, and obviously it did this year for Manchester, who swept 3 games and ended up winning 20 and got into the tournament.
Well, you can also bet that people will be keeping a close eye on exactly how we do now that we're in.
Right.
You know, and that has a lot, you know, it may have had something to do with why we're in now, you know, is the fact that we've been there and you know, traditionally DePauw has done well in the tournament. So, you know, I think that they'll be looking to see how Manchester does and how we do this year, and that will have a bearing on what happens in the future.
Well, do you think perhaps now that the ICAC has had these 2 bids now, do you think that'll directly lead more quickly to an automatic bid
Yeah,
for
I
the
would
conference
think so.
tournament winner?
I would think so. And you know, I've been in favor of the tournament, and obviously it got us this year, you know, but at the same time, I think it's the best thing for the players. You know, that if the bid is attached to the tournament, then, you know, ultimately I thought this is a strong enough league and will continue to be a strong enough league that you could get 2 teams in. If the regular season winner did not win the tournament, you know, if you have a good enough record to win this thing, the regular season championship, you probably should go to the NCAAs. So if somebody else sneaks up and wins the tournament, that gives you 2 teams that are good enough to go on any given year. So it worked out that way, even though we didn't have the automatic bid. It worked out that way this year.
Well, it brings up an interesting concept also, Coach. You wonder if maybe the regular season winner shouldn't get the automatic bid if there's going to be an automatic bid, because traditionally that would mean they've probably had a fairly good record and a stronger overall record than a team that could come up and win 3 games gets hot for 1 weekend.
Right, but you're not staying with me here.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I'm bringing up kind of a paradox.
What I'm saying is that this is for these guys.
Right.
Okay? This whole idea, this satellite hookup, you know, everything we're doing is for them. And there are people like them at all of these other schools who are practicing every day and working every day. And when all of a sudden you're 3-9 in you know, your conference record's 3-9, and you know in the middle of January you got no chance at postseason play.
But if you've got the tournament,
it's not as much fun.
Right.
You know, it's not as much fun to go out there, and we're, you know, hopefully we'll have a year like this every year. You know, but if we don't, we would like, you know, if you got a young team or you got a team that's taken a while to develop, or for whatever reasons, you always have that to point to. And every team in the league has that to point to, and that makes it, I think, a much better experience for the players because they're always alive. You know, they always have a reason to come to practice every day and get better. You know, they always have a reason to pull for each other and something to point to. And to me, you know, you gotta put your selfish interests aside. And this year, I had the more selfish interest than anybody, because if there was a bid attached to the tournament, it could have really come back and bit and really gotten us.
Right.
You know, which is you know what almost happened. Even though there wasn't a bid, you know, everyone was talking Manchester after the tournament.
Right.
So, you know, but I think it's important that in January, if things haven't gone very well for us, you know, I want to be able to tell Eric Brooks, hey, hang in there. We're going to get better. We're going to get hot, and we're going to get it done at the end of the year. And that just makes your life easier as a coach.
I'll kind of just get some of the players' feelings. You guys before have always gone into the tournament knowing it could be the end of your season, but there'd always be next year. Now you guys are seniors. You're going into this tournament, and every game could be your last. How do you guys prepare for that, knowing the next game you go into could be the last one? What kind of mental mindset does that put you into?
I don't think you can go into a game thinking this could be my last. For me, that throws me off. I go into the game and take it a half at a time. I try to break it down in a small proportion as I can, because thinking that this is my last game, Coach is saying earlier that teams aren't lose during the tournament, and I think that's got a lot to do with it. Thinking too much, wondering what's going to happen tomorrow, wonder where they're going to be, and that is detrimental to the playing in the games.
Well, do you guys think that you guys have a lot of tournament experience? I mean, over 4 years you've been there at least. Maybe not all of you have played in the tournament, but you've been there. You guys are a senior-based team. Do you think that really gives you guys an advantage over this Augustana team? I mean, they're a senior-based team too, but you guys probably have, in the last decade, only one team has made more more appearances in the NCAA tournament than DePauw. So you guys have got the tradition and you guys have got the experience. Do you think that's going to help you out as you go into this tournament? Anybody else?
Well, I don't know if it'll help us with the experience or not. I think when they throw up the ball, it doesn't matter how many NCAA games you've played before. It's this one that matters. So, I mean, these guys have been there before, and we've been there before and know what the atmosphere is like. And that'll probably help us feel a little bit more comfortable coming in, knowing that if we lose, we're eliminated. But
I'll tell you what.
We've been there. I'm sorry, Coach. Go ahead.
But when you think about it, we haven't played a game in the last month that hasn't had a huge crowd, hasn't had, you know, lots of screaming people, hasn't had a really intense kind of atmosphere. And, you know, that's going to help us get prepared as well. I think Troy is right in that when they do throw up the ball, it's going to be this one game, this one time. And that's how it always is. You know, and all the other stuff, you know, sometimes it's just a little harder to hear. You know, but other than that, you know, you got to be a player and you got to be a coach or you got to be whatever you are at the moment, and you know, find a way to help your team.
Do you think that?
But all that other stuff, you don't think about that stuff. You don't have time.
Well, do you think do any of you guys think maybe the tournament atmosphere and everybody playing as it's the end of their season? You know, it's not in your mind directly, but do you think that takes some of the home court advantage away? Because, you know, in the tournament, the ICAC tournament seemed to take some of the home court out of it. And you look back to when you guys were freshmen, you know, that team won all of its games on the road. And then last year, an Elmhurst team came down here and won. Do you think maybe the tournament atmosphere takes a little bit of the home court advantage out playing in the tournament? Anybody?
It sounds like a nice thing, Dave.
It sounds like
I haven't really thought about it, but I you know,
that's a pretty complex complex.
It sounds like a good explanation. You know, I'm not sure why it would be, but I think that you know, what happens especially in tournaments is you have good teams playing their best.
Right.
You know, and so the home court thing becomes even less important because of that. I mean, you're going to have the best teams out there. The best teams are going to rattle the least. The best teams are going to be the best prepared. The best teams are going to be the readiest.
Right.
And you know, you look at Wabash, who beat us the other night. Wabash was playing as good as anybody in this league at that time. You know, we beat them the Saturday before, but before that they had won 5 games in a row. You know, so they had won 5 out of their last 6 games coming into the conference tournament. And then they beat Franklin the night before, and they come back here after getting thumped by us in a week. They got all kinds of motivation.
Right.
They're playing loose, and you know, they're ready to rock on us, and that's what happened. But I think they're a good basketball team who was playing well at the time, and you know, we had a good crowd. They had a nice crowd here.
Right.
You know, so you know, I didn't think it was particularly an advantage, you know, that the place was packed and it was loud, because it was kind of loud both ways.
Well, looking at the NCAA tournament, you guys are going to have to be on the road a long ways if you're going to go on into the Final Four. And a lot of these destinations are going to be pretty far away, so it isn't going to be loud both ways. And you guys are going to have to block that out.
So we're already giving up on the road trip thing, huh?
No, I'll be there. Hey, all I'm saying is I'll be there, but I think we have to assume there's not going to be 1,000 people go to Augustana on Thursday. But
Dave, you know, it's just like
what's
the movie.
that, Eric?
It's just like the movie.
Eric.
It's just like
I was looking at Eric.
It's just like the movie Hoosiers.
You want to get on TV?
When they took them up to Hinkle Fieldhouse, you know, all the rims that we're going to play on, they're all going to be 10 feet. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference where we're playing.
Dr. Burgher's.
Well, I think everyone kind of agrees with what Coach said. We would have walked anywhere to play in this tournament after losing Friday night. So, I mean, I don't think anybody cares where we play.
We would have even taken vans if we
we'd
had
go
to.
We'd go to
yeah.
Well,
as much as we hate vans,
we don't want to take vans anywhere, man.
You guys take vans, man.
So
I'm taking a bus.
We'll play anywhere. I mean, that might even focus us more, a long bus ride, getting away from everything and kind of getting to think about what we have to do. I think that might even focus us a little bit more playing on the road.
Well, this is Quinn and Hannah and my wife Gigi.
Hannah and Gigi. We are a family show.
For the last 36 hours, I've been telling them not to speak to me.
Has he been unbearable to be around all weekend?
I've been telling
just leave me alone.
He was very funny out here tonight, but you should have seen him all day long.
But did I go sledding with this tie on today?
Yes, you did go sledding with your tie on.
I tried to call, and I tried to call Coach Fenlon today to try and line out some things for the show, and I could just hear him probably sitting sitting there next
Don't
to the
pick your
answering
nose
machine,
on
just
TV.
listening to people talk, not picking their photo. So.
No, that's why we left the house.
We left
we
the
wouldn't
house,
have
so we
to
don't
do
have to
that
take
at
it.
all.
Well, the anticipation's over.
You
guys are in the tournament. Big berth. I know there's a lot of concern all weekend long, but you guys are now in, and we look forward to watching you guys play, and hopefully we can see another run at the finals like we saw 4 years ago. And it'd be really nice to see. I know you guys are a tight-knit group, and Coach, you're back after a year out of the Midwest. You're back in the Midwest, and you're back in the NCAA tournament. And it'd be nice to see your team make a run here.
It would be very nice, and I think we're going to be ready to play, and I know we're going to play well. And that's all we ever ask of our guys. So you guys are going to fight, I'm going to slam you. But we're obviously ecstatic about the opportunity. Like I said before, we were on the edge, staring into the abyss, and you know, now we've got new life, and we need to take advantage of that.
Well, I want to just, on my behalf, I'd like to congratulate, and on the behalf of all the staff, I'd like to congratulate all your players and yourself, Coach, and all the other players associated with the team, and wish you guys the best of luck.
Thanks, Dave.
And we'll be back following the NCAA tourney game on Thursday with another Coach Bill Fenlon show to either look at the next round game or go over the season. I'd like to extend my special thanks to all of the Bill Fenlon crew, and especially to Sports Information Director Bill Wagner of DePauw University. We'd like to thank you very much for watching the show tonight, and we encourage everyone to support the Tigers on Thursday night and make that road trip to Augustana. Thank you, Cy. So for myself and the rest of the Bill Fenlon staff, good night and thank you.
Hey, congratulations.